Hello, it's very good to have you with us at this hour. I'm Daniel Che here to provide you with the latest. A key member of the ruling Saenuri Party has decided to end his boycott of party affairs in an effort to mend ties with the party leadership. His decision could possibly help end a factional feud that was reignited by the Saenuri's decision to reinstate a handful of lawmakers who jumped ship before the last election. Our Kim Min-ji has our top story.
The chairman of the ruling Saenuri Party's Innovation Committee said Sunday he will return to his post and fulfill his duties. Kim Hee-ok had boycotted party affairs in recent days and was said to be considering whether to step down after the committee decided to accept a handful of former lawmakers back into the party despite his opposition. A party spokesperson said Kim made the decision for the sake of party unity and reform, and that a new secretary general will be selected to assist him. The announcement comes after crunch talks earlier in the day with party floor leader Chung Jin-seok, who apologized to Kim for using inappropriate language and urged him to return to work. Last week, Kim had asked the committee to delay a vote on the lawmakers, but Chung pushed ahead with a plan to reinstate them, calling Kim's request a criminal act. The dispute revolves around 7 lawmakers who left the party after failing to win nominations for the April general election. They later ran as independents and won seats in the National Assembly. The conflict further divided members of the party's 2 main factions. The pro-Park Geun-hye faction was especially opposed to the reinstatement of former floor leader Yoo Seung-min, who was at the center of the factional dispute before the election because he was critical of the president. The members of the pro-Park faction plan to hold a meeting on Monday to address the factional dispute. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Sticking with local politics, Korea's 3 main political parties could be headed for another clash if their upcoming policy plans are any indication. The 3 parties on Sunday released statements on their priorities ahead of briefings to be delivered by each party in parliament on Monday. The ruling Saenuri Party called for action on a bill that would institute a state-led childcare program and another outlining plans to restructure the country's shipping and shipbuilding industries. The main opposition Minju Party vowed to focus on the humidifier sterilizer scandal and getting a term extension for the Special Investigative Commission on the Cervical ferry disaster. The minor opposition People's Party urged the ruling party to resolve its internal feud first in order to normalize parliamentary affairs. ISIS has its eyes on Korea. The Islamic terrorist group has reportedly identified targets in Korea, including U.S. military bases and 1 Korean citizen. Oh Jung-hee zooms in on the list provided by the nation's top intel agency.
The Islamic State group has targeted Korea in an online post featuring the locations of U.S. Air Force facilities in Korea and the personal information of 1 Korean citizen. According to the National Intelligence Service on Sunday, the group used the messaging service Telegram to post the locations of 77 U.S. Air Force bases around the world and the personal information of 21 ordinary citizens. The list includes Google satellite maps and the websites of U.S. Air Force bases in the Korean cities of Osan and Gunsan, as well as the name, email address, and the physical address of a person who works at an unnamed Korean welfare organization. The NIS said the Islamic State's hacking group United Cyber Caliphate obtained the data by hacking websites and collecting information from the internet. The NIS told U.S. Forces Korea and the related institutions to be on alert for possible terrorist attacks and asked the police to protect the targeted citizen. The agency added that the Korean government will do all it can do to protect citizens through its government-wide counter-terrorism system. The threat comes after ISIS designated Korea as an ally of the forces fighting against it in September of last year and released a video that included a list of 20 Koreans early this year. Over the last 5 years, Korea has deported roughly 50 people with links to terrorist organizations and caught 2 Korean nationals who tried to join ISIS. Oh Jung-hee, Arirang News.
Police in Turkey are preparing to arrest 3 Turkish men who attacked a Korea-owned record store in Istanbul over the weekend. According to the Korean Consulate General in Istanbul, the police are planning to request an arrest warrant following a second investigation into the incident. The The police said the attack was spontaneous and not specifically directed at Koreans. The news comes after around 20 Turkish men broke into the store on Friday night with pipes and bottles, angry that customers were drinking beer and listening to music during the holy month of Ramadan. A group of Radiohead fans were playing the music from the band's new album at the store to celebrate its release. Leave versus Remain. The campaign on the EU referendum has resumed after a suspension following the death of Labour Party lawmaker Joe Cox. As Brits carefully weigh their options, representatives of both sides have spoken out. Justice Secretary Michael Gove told the BBC Brexit would help UK establish itself as a progressive beacon to the world. Gove added the country will face challenges and risks either way, but it will be easier to tackle those hurdles once UK has control of the economic levers and the country's own laws. On the opposite end of the spectrum, advocating for Remain, Prime Minister David Cameron wrote on the Sunday Telegraph, "This is a watershed moment for the UK." He warned choosing to leave the EU in Thursday's vote would be a big mistake that will lead to debilitating uncertainty. Cameron said that Joe Cox died while advocating for the country to stick with the EU, and she embodied Britain at its best. Seoul's prosecutors are set to wrap up their 5-month investigation into the toxic humidifier disinfectants made by Reckitt Benckiser Korea, once known as Oxy. The investigative team said Sunday it is planning to press charges against roughly 20 people, including 12 who were already arrested on charges including professional negligence and false advertising. Officials at the parent company in Britain could not be summoned, but prosecutors will question them via email. The toxic chemical at the heart of what is arguably the worst consumer product scandal in Korea has left at least 140 dead and hundreds more affected since 2011. Meanwhile, the victims and their families have expressed discontent with Oxy's compensation plan, which they say is inadequate. If you feel your eyes are fixated on your monitors a lot longer than the world around you, you may want to make some changes. According to the National Health Insurance Service, the number of people in Korea with cervical spine disorder has risen by 24% over the past 5 years. The spike has mainly been attributed to the widespread use of IT devices such as smartphones and tablet PCs, which leads to bad posture. The condition was most prevalent among people in their 50s, followed by those in their 40s and 60s. Doctors say in order to prevent the disorder, people should place their computer monitors or smartphones at eye level and stretch to relax tense muscles after several hours of use. Korean students will soon get the opportunity to find out if they have what it takes to be a software programmer or engineer. Students in kindergarten to high school will be given the opportunity to take software familiarization lessons catering to different levels for a week starting Monday. This is part of a monthly program orchestrated by the Education Ministry and the Korea Foundation for the Advancement of Science and Creativity that also involves big names from the giants of relevant industries. The participating companies include Naver, Microsoft, and Samsung Electronics. The programs offered range from coding your own Bluetooth piano to creating a software-based air purifier, along with software-related field trips. Students can go to www.teachforkorea.go.kr to learn more and apply. Myanmar, a country with plenty of resources and major political changes, is seen by many nations as having great potential to prosper, and Korea is eager to help the country tap into that potential by sharing its experience. Kwon So-ah shows us how Korea's unique official development assistance program is making a difference there.
These sounds of weaving come from looms operated by the hands of women neglected by society, who call this place, the Women Development Center, home. From the weaving workshop to a retail shop, where traditional attire, bed covers, and other items are sold. And these days, things are better than before. This as volunteers brought their professional methods from Korea, a part of the Korea International Cooperation Agency's aid program.
I'll still remember how happy we were when we saw the products actually being sold.
I believe I can make a living with the skills I learn here if I leave the center one day.
Another way of helping to foster independence, a large focus of Korea's official development assistance projects, can be seen in the passing on of Korea's 1970s Saemaul movement, or rural development model that's based on diligence, self-help, and cooperation.
Saemaul Undong is the bridge between poverty to prosperity.
Strong monsoon rain isn't stopping these residents in this Saemaul pilot village from constructing a drainage system, which is expected to eradicate daily difficulties, including in farming. Roughly 70% in Myanmar make a living through agriculture, as it accounts of 28% of production and 23% of exports.
Myanmar is abundant in vegetables and fruits like this mango. However, we don't know whether this fruit will get into the hands of customers at the market in this fresh form as of yet.
According to the country's agriculture ministry, up to 42% of products are lost due to hazards such as in packaging and preserving. To tackle those issues, KOICA took the initiative in establishing a post-harvest research institute in the capital Naypyidaw earlier this month.
The research results will lead to good quality products, raise competitiveness, and enhance the farmers' income and knowledge.
KOICA will provide almost $23.6 million worth of projects in Myanmar this year. By comparison, Japan's ODA amounts to roughly $200 million.
Although we cannot give as much aid as countries like the US, China, or Japan, we can deliver our development experience as we ourselves eradicated poverty and learn how to live well. That's our key strategy.
KOICA says while more aid goes into Vietnam as of now, soon Myanmar will rank on top, as the country is seen to have enough potential to outgrow its status as an emerging economy like Korea. Kwon So-ah, Arirang News, Naypyidaw.
Now for a quick look at the weather before we go. Heavy rains are expected in the southern part of the country on Monday, so people in Gwangju, Busan, and Jeju will want to have an umbrella with them before heading out the door. Temperature-wise, Seoul and Gwangju will start the day at 21 degrees Celsius and Daegu will be at 22. The mercury will shoot up all the way to 31 in the capital, to 28 in Gwangju, and to 32 in Daegu. That's Korea for you. Let's check out the conditions in your neck of the woods and around the world. That's all from us. Here's wishing you a smooth transition to a new work week. Thanks for watching.